Hey now, it's Friday the 20th of May. Got my coffee here. Just getting my day going. Yesterday we got word that on Tuesday, the 17th, Vangelis, old Papathanasou, passed away. He was 70. And yeah, because of the way that I do things, I saw the news almost immediately when it was posted on the internet. And shortly after that, I started hearing from folks, telling me that he'd passed. And that's two big keyboard people that we've lost in 2022. Klaus Schultz and now Vangelis. And Vangelis was even a larger influence on me personally. And I love his music and his personality and what I saw of him as a human being. He really struck me as a real humane artist who was moved by the music and by the magic of music. I don't have a dedicated Vangelis. It's not Vangelis, it's Vangelis. I don't have a dedicated collection, but I do have some of his stuff. And the first thing that I heard by him was Aphrodites Child, 666. This concept album. I heard it back in the 70s. Some people I know had a copy before I did. And I remember someone insisting, you gotta go through this. You have to experience this album. It's a concept album based on the Book of Revelations, and it's very powerful and even frightening at times. Very intense. Vangelis, along with Demi Russo with his very distinct voice, but the music and the production, it's like this is it was big, and it's I dare say it's one of the concept albums, one of the most powerful concept albums ever made. Vangelis, the music, fantastic. So that's how I first heard Vangelis. The next thing that I heard by him, and this is kind of interesting, was his album Earth. And excuse me, when I sleep with the fan, I have a little bit of congestion when I get up in the morning. Interestingly, I got this album a long time ago. For some reason, I let it go. I got lucky and got my actual copy back that has my name inside the cover. Dereck, there, see it? Yeah. I do regret. It's like it's useless to regret things, but if I were to admit regrets, I regret selling a lot of records that I've sold. It's like I didn't know what I had. Even when I knew what I had, I didn't know what I had. This, to me, 1974 is when this came out in America, and here's a European version. It came out in 73. I'm so sorry. It's the coffee, people, okay? Sorry. Some of you folks, well, maybe you folks who are upset by the sound of my body have left, so I don't have to worry about it, and I don't worry about it, and then I can do. But this, to me, is the first example of what they call New Age music. Now, I don't like the term, but what it means or how it was marketed, to me, this was the first music that I would put in that category, complementary, because this music is progressive, but it's also ethnic. The strong Greek flavor with the lutes and the other stringed instruments and just the melodies and some of the settings on keyboards that Vangelis used. Groundbreaking. Excellent, excellent. One of my favorites still of his. I only recently got this, but found out that this was his first soundtrack, 1970, Sex Power. And this is a reissue that I only recently came across. A very nicely done reissue, though, I must say. And the thing about Vangelis is that he, I agree, I watched a couple of documentaries about him, and I agree that he melodically and sonically pushed music forward. Pardon me. I could stop and start over again, but I'm just going to keep going, okay? Sonically, he pushed music forward. He was not classically trained, mostly self-taught. And as a result, kind of like Todd Rundgren, he would hybridize chords. What I mean is that he would play chords in unique voicings, where it would be a combination of A this and that, or B this and that, and it would be a new flavor. And I noticed that right away about his music. I think it was highly influential on music and other musicians. Highly influential, I really do. So I did start to follow him. And when this came out in the US, I got it. Heaven and Hell. This is not my original copy, because like I said, for some reason I got rid of records. I've been through some psychotic times. But this is a gatefold version of the album. This is the introduction of him working with John Anderson of Yes on this album. And I love the cover graphics of this. And they fit the music, they do. But when I saw this when it came out, it was like, this has to be good. And it didn't disappoint. That is quite a powerful image. Hands with wings, made of ice or glass. Really powerful. Same with the next album, Albedo 0.39, where he's trying stuff, concepts, ways of presenting these sounds. Really working in a territory of his own. Very good. Don't have all of his albums, and one of his early soundtracks, the one Animaux des Animaux, however you say it, I want to get that. I also came across this album early on, back in the 80s. It came out in 1976, but this band, Socrates Drank the Conium. This album he made with them, Fos, and this is good. It's not as hard rocking as the other Socrates albums. You can hear the obvious Vangelis influence and input. I think it works very well. Very well. And then because they would do multiple releases of his stuff around the world, I ended up with a couple copies of some of his records, thinking I'd got something, but it's the same thing. And this is one, Ignacio, released on in France on the Egg label, is the same as this soundtrack. Entend tous les chiens aboyer, something about a dog. And this is on the BASF label, which I generally like, but just to let you know, this is a much better cut of the album than this one. This is much better cut. And this is the good stuff. I also liked, again, I like how he would be very spatial and cosmic, but also very ethnic, almost always. Spiral. Great cover graphics that go along with the music. This one is cool because it's almost jazz. Hypothesis. Excuse me. And Vangelis said that in many interviews that people call him a composer, and he said, I just play. The music just tumbles out of him. This is one, well, this is not just one, but there's several. This and The Dragon, you can hear. Yeah, the next one. These are improvs, mostly. Big, long improvs. Good stuff, though. The Dragon. You know, the fact that he was 70, that he passed away at 70, it's a golden era of history, and music is passing. I'm glad I lived through it. I think the 60s was an amazing explosion of creativity moving into the 70s. And that's really where a lot of this music got started. This is one of his unusual, more experimental sounding albums, Boborg. And is this a Spanish pressing of it? And here's the US pressing with a different cover. I keep them both. China. I need to listen to this one. I've forgotten what this one is like. China. A favorite. Opera Sauvage. Is this a soundtrack? I think so. Opera Sauvage. And about this time, he put out an album with the singer Irene Pappas. And I used to have it. Sold it. I don't think I listened to it that much, but in retrospect, it's like, yeah, I really could have kept that just for the collection of Vangelis. Opera Sauvage. Yeah, the outpouring of on social media, you find out what this music and what these people mean to people. And music is just very powerful and important, and it really sets the tone for many of our lives. It does. Here's one of his that I have to play this because it's like I don't remember what this is like. See You Later. I don't remember what this is like. I have to play this. And then, of course, his Academy Award winning Chariots of Fire. Now, again, this was really kind of groundbreaking because there's not a lot of instrumental songs that become hits. I think of Edgar Winter and Frankenstein, and back with the guitar, Telstar, and stuff like that. So this was really quite an accomplishment. The other beautiful thing about this is that he didn't compromise himself in any way to make this music. He didn't sell out. Vangelis never sold out. That's one thing I'll say, to my perspective. He always made music and just did that, made music. Never compromised his vision. He always just made music. And interestingly, it's just so good and so beautiful, it just crossed over into money making. And hits. He actually had hits. About that time, he started putting out records with John Anderson of Yes. So I have this one, Friends of Mr. Cairo. Don't play it much, but I do like it. And then I have a compilation from their albums, Private Collection, John and Vangelis. A personal favorite of mine is the soundtrack to Antarctica. Apparently this was a really highly grossing film from Japan, but the music is just, oh, I love it. Here's one that reminds me that I often forget to show my CDs when I'm showing stuff. A lot of the stuff I have on CD as well. And this I just played last night, fantastic, Soil Festivities. This is beautiful, beautiful passages and chord changes on this one. Soil Festivities. This is what I have on CD, and back when I was listening to music to go to sleep by, that was one that I would use a lot. I don't anymore. I don't use music to go to sleep. Don't have to. Mask with a choir. Big, large picture of music here. It's wonderful. And then the most recent things that I have by him, this is one of the more recent things, and it's not recent because he just kept making music, and I can't keep up. But this is good. Dereck. It's good. It's on the Arista label. Oftentimes when I would see artists end up on Arista, my first thought was Clive Davis got a hold of him and he thinks he has a hit, or he's got them to compromise what they do to make hits. This is not an example of that. This is just pure Vangelis. It's really good. And then I have these best of To the Unknown Man, Volume 1, and then themes, compilations. And the only other things I have by him are on CD. Just a couple things I don't have on vinyl. 1492, the soundtrack. And this one, I like this a lot, Voices. I like this one a lot. So rest in peace, Brother Vangelis. His music, again, I just get a lot of peace and harmonious thoughts and feelings from his music. His music to me is an example of sound that attempts to heal or attempts to bring harmony or peace. I really do. More than anything, his music has that quality. And he was a big man, a big bear of a man. Big, gentle, wonderful soul is what I picked up about Vangelis. He'll be greatly missed. Just like Klaus Schultz, there's no one that can replace him. Rest in peace, Vangelis.